She texted, "I'm sleeping at my ex's house tonight. You need to prove you're not the insecure type by being okay with it." I replied, "Prove what you need to." Then I called her ex's wife and asked if she knew my fiancé was sleeping over the three-way. Conference call she accidentally picked. "Look, I'm not proud of how I handled this. Actually, scratch that. I'm absolutely proud of it. But I'm supposed to start these posts with some kind of fox humility, right? So, here's the deal. 6 weeks ago I'm Ethan, 37, an architect specializing in sustainable commercial buildings. And until that night, I thought I had a solid relationship with Olivia, my fiancée of nearly 3 years. We had been living together in a cozy apartment in East Austin, splitting bills evenly, sharing chores, and as far as I believed, respecting each other's boundaries. Olivia, 35, is a digital marketing director at a mid-sized agency downtown. Ambitious, social, charismatic, the kind of woman people notice when she walks into a room. Our life together had been steady, almost boring in its normalcy, until that single text changed everything. For context, Olivia and Ryan, her ex-boyfriend, had dated for nearly 3 years before breaking up over what she called lifestyle differences, mostly his obsession with video games and his inability to hold down a stable job. I had met Ryan exactly twice, once at a mutual friend's birthday party, where he spent the evening talking incessantly about cryptocurrency, and once at a bar, randomly showing up where Olivia felt socially obligated to introduce him to me. Both times, he had this way of reminiscing about our crazy weekend in Montreal while looking directly at me, smirking as if daring me to question him. I didn't. I just smiled politely and poured another drink, silently noting that he gave me bad vibes. What Olivia conveniently left out of her text was that Ryan had been married for a little over a year to a woman named Megan. I only knew this because a mutual friend had posted photos from their destination wedding in Mexico. Seeing the thoughtlessness in Olivia's text made my stomach twist. She framed this as some sort of test of my trust and emotional maturity, completely ignoring the fact that she would be spending the night at a married man's apartment. My mind raced. Was she really this blind to boundaries? Or was this some elaborate manipulation to see how I'd react? I stared at the ceiling for several minutes. My first instinct had been to book the earliest flight back to Austin and confront her immediately. My second had been to call her and demand explanations. But instead, I felt an odd clarity. This was not a situation to react impulsively. This was a situation to navigate carefully, to expose the truth without losing my composure. I typed back another brief message, "Talk tomorrow. Don't do anything reckless." Then I opened a new browser tab and searched for Ryan on social media. Within moments, I found Megan's profile. She was a real estate agent with a business number listed prominently, the kind of number that promised availability to potential clients 24/7. I dialed it, hands trembling slightly with anticipation. At 10:58 p.m. Central Time, she picked up. "Hello." Her voice was polite but cautious. "Hi, is this Megan?" I asked, trying to keep my tone calm. "My name is Ethan. I'm engaged to Olivia Weber. I believe you might know her as Ryan's ex-girlfriend." A brief pause. "Oh, yes, I know who Olivia is. I'm sorry, I'm a little surprised to get this call so late." I took a deep breath. "I apologize for calling at this hour, but I wanted to make sure you were aware that Olivia texted me saying she plans to spend the night at your apartment with Ryan tonight. I just wanted to check if this is something you're comfortable with." There was silence on the other end. "Then, I'm currently out of town visiting my sister in Dallas," Megan said, her voice tight. "Ryan told me he was having a guys' night watching the game." My heart started to race. The perfect storm of deceit and confusion was unfolding in real time. I calmly replied, "I understand. Thank you for letting me know." There was another pause. Then Megan said, "Hold on. I'm going to add Ryan to the line. We can sort this out together." Within seconds, she merged the call, creating a three-way connection. Suddenly, all three of us were connected. The muffled sound of a basketball game and Ryan's casual chatter filled the background. Then Megan asked him directly, "Is Olivia at our apartment right now?" A pause. Then Ryan, voice faltering, "What? No. I'm at Tommy's watching the game." My pulse quickened. I spoke up gently. Hi Ryan, this is Ethan. Olivia texted me that she was crashing at your place tonight. Megan's voice cut in sharply. Yes. Ryan, she's not supposed to be there while I'm away. The room seemed to shrink. Tension thick enough to taste. I felt a grim satisfaction as Ryan stammered, grasping for excuses. Olivia, on the other end, seemed blissfully unaware of the unfolding chaos. The way she had framed this as a trust test was crumbling piece by piece before her, and I sat back, silently, letting the truth speak louder than any words I could throw in anger. The moment Ryan picked up, I could immediately hear the slight nervous edge in his voice. Hey, babe, what's up? The background noise, laughter, clinking glasses, the faint thump of a basketball game, made it obvious he was not where he claimed to be. I stayed silent, letting Megan take the lead. Her voice was calm but sharp. Ryan, is Olivia at our apartment right now? A pause. Then a weak, almost faltering, no. I'm at Tommy's watching the game. My pulse quickened. The tension in the room palpable even through the phone. I gently spoke up, my voice controlled. Hi Ryan, it's Ethan. Olivia texted me that she planned to spend the night at your apartment. Megan's tone cut through his casual demeanor like a blade. Yes, Ethan, she's not supposed to be there while I'm away. And I was unaware she had any plans to come over. The room fell into a suffocating silence. I could almost feel the panic spreading across the line, even without seeing their faces. Ryan shuffled in the background, trying to think of something, anything, that would cover the truth. Olivia's voice finally came through, confused and slightly annoyed. Ethan, are you seriously calling to check up on me? There was an edge of indignation, the classic defensive reaction when someone is caught off guard. This is exactly the kind of insecurity I was talking about, she said. But Megan interjected smoothly, her composure impeccable. He's calling to make sure I'm aware that my husband's ex is spending the night at our apartment. I'm not, Olivia. The chaos escalated instantly. Ryan stammered, trying to clarify. No, it's not like that. We just ran into each other at Murphy's. His excuses trailed off as Megan's sharp questioning revealed the holes in his story. Did you know she would be staying overnight? She pressed. His voice dropped to a near whisper. I thought it was fine. We've been friends. I stayed quiet, watching as Olivia's carefully constructed manipulation unraveled. The words she had sent, "Prove you're not insecure," echoed back at her in the most humiliating way. Suddenly, she wasn't the one testing me. She was exposed, cornered by the very reality she tried to spin in her favor. The layers of deceit peeled back, showing not a harmless friendship but a carefully hidden pattern. I listened as Megan methodically laid out the facts. Ryan's stories, his claims of a harmless night, crumbled under her calm but relentless questions. Each response he gave revealed contradictions, pauses where he struggled to maintain a facade. I felt a mix of satisfaction and grim realization. The woman I loved had been lying, framing her deception as a trust test, and I had been manipulated into silence before. Olivia began to panic, trying to regain control. It's not what you think. Nothing happened, she protested, her voice rising an octave. Megan's reply was cutting, final. Ryan, your behavior speaks for itself. You've been misleading everyone, and Olivia, your excuses are irrelevant. This isn't just about tonight. The phone call, which I initially feared might spiral into chaos, became a crucible of truth. The more Ryan and Olivia tried to rationalize, the clearer the picture became. Months of deception, carefully hidden meetings, and a blatant disregard for boundaries. It was almost cinematic, the kind of moment you imagine in a movie. Yet the realness of it hit harder, because it was my life unfolding in real time. I stayed on the line, observing Olivia's indignation and panic, Ryan's guilt, and Megan's composed dominance. My mind was racing, but my voice remained calm. Olivia, I finally said, soft but firm, you texted me that you'd be at Ryan's tonight, framing it as a trust test. Did you consider telling me he was married? Did you think I wouldn't check? Her silence was telling. She had no answer. The carefully curated story she had rehearsed fell apart. The tension in her voice shifted from irritation to desperation. She tried to justify herself. I had too many drinks. I didn't want to pay for an Uber. We're just friends. Every word sounded weaker than the last, hollow against the facts Megan calmly laid out. I could hear Ryan's fidgeting, background noise fading as he tried to find a private corner. Megan's voice remained steady, unwavering, like a lighthouse in a storm. Ryan, I expect transparency. Olivia, you've crossed a line. This is not acceptable. Her words landed like heavy stones, final and undeniable. The surrealness of the situation hit me. The fiancée who tried to test my insecurity was now scrambling in a reality she couldn't control. Her plan had backfired spectacularly, and I, who had been calm from the start, was finally able to witness the truth fully revealed. After several excruciating minutes, the call ended. I sat back in my hotel chair, breathing slowly, letting the adrenaline subside. The silence of my hotel room felt heavy but cleansing. I realized in that moment, Olivia had not only betrayed my trust, but also underestimated my resolve. She had attempted manipulation, framed it as a test, and thought I would comply or rationalize. Instead, she had exposed herself completely. By the time I went to bed that night, I knew things would never be the same. The truth had been laid bare, and yet, in the chaos of deceit and confrontation, there was a strange sense of relief. For the first time in months, I was no longer questioning myself, no longer wondering if I was overreacting. The pieces of the puzzle had fallen into place, and I could see clearly for the first time, this relationship was built on lies, and the sooner I accepted it, the sooner I could reclaim my life. The morning after the three-way call, I couldn't focus on anything. The conference sessions I had flown to Austin for, discussions about sustainable building materials, debates over architectural icons, felt trivial compared to the chaos unfolding back home. I ignored Olivia's increasingly desperate texts and calls. They poured in relentlessly, each one a mix of apologies, excuses, and attempts to guilt me. You're overreacting. It's just a misunderstanding. We're just friends. I made a mistake, but you crossed a line. Her words blurred together, but each one rang hollow. I had seen the truth. I had witnessed the unraveling of the story she had carefully constructed for months. Every meeting, every casual run-in with Ryan that she had described as harmless friendship now painted a clear, disturbing pattern. By late morning, I decided I had enough. I called my brother, explaining the situation and asking if I could crash at his place temporarily. His response was immediate, unwavering. Of course, Ethan, you need space. And honestly, I never liked that cat anyway. Simba, Olivia's judgmental Maine Coon, had always made it clear he preferred her over me, but I didn't care. I needed distance, clarity, and time to breathe. When I finally returned to our apartment in East Austin that evening, Olivia's things were partially packed, but she was still there, trying desperately to control the narrative. Simba watched from his perch on the bookshelf, eyes narrowed, clearly judging every word. Olivia alternated between pleading, accusing, and explaining, but I remained methodical, almost detached. I focused on packing my essentials, important documents, a few changes of clothes, items that mattered to me. My silence seemed to frustrate her more than anything I could have said. You can't just throw away 3 years over one misunderstanding, she shouted, her voice breaking. I was drunk. I made a bad decision, but I love you. I looked her in the eye, calm and resolute. Olivia, you texted me that you'd be at Ryan's place tonight. You framed it as a test of my insecurity. You didn't mention he was married. According to Megan, this isn't the first time you've been there. So what exactly am I misunderstanding? Her face fell. She had no answer. I left my apartment key on the counter, gave Simba a final scratch behind the ears, a gesture of quiet farewell, and walked out. The apartment felt heavier as I closed the door behind me, but with each step away, I felt lighter. The aftermath was predictable. Mutual friends choosing sides, awkward explanations to family, and Olivia cycling through countless narratives to defend herself. She was controlling, manipulative, and unrepentant, and I, for the first time in months, felt free. Weeks passed. I moved into a smaller apartment, focused on work, and cautiously re-entered the dating world. It was mundane, ordinary, yet refreshing. I wasn't seeking a rebound or a fantasy. I was simply re-establishing my life. Then came an unexpected email from Megan, Ryan's soon-to-be ex-wife. The subject line read, "Thought you might want to see this." Attached was a screenshot of text messages between Ryan and Olivia from months before. Messages that confirmed what I had already suspected. The relationship I thought was solid had been a lie for far longer than I realized. There was a strange sense of relief in seeing the evidence. I hadn't overreacted. I hadn't imagined it. And perhaps most importantly, I had dodged a bullet. Megan and I began to exchange emails cautiously, sharing our experiences without venturing into romantic territory. It was comforting to talk to someone who had endured similar betrayal, someone who understood the nuances of being deceived by someone you once trusted implicitly. Our conversations started brief, polite, but gradually became longer, filled with shared anecdotes, laughter, and subtle reflections on trust and boundaries. Months later, a chance encounter at a local bookstore led to another, then another at a farmer's market. Eventually, we exchanged numbers properly, cautiously stepping into a tentative connection. We weren't rushing, weren't trying to force anything. There was trauma, yes, and caution, but also an undeniable sense of understanding and mutual respect. Megan had seen firsthand the damage Ryan and Olivia had caused, and she approached life with clarity and honesty. It was a stark contrast to Olivia's manipulations, and I found solace in that. As Megan and I spent more time together, it became clear that our connection was built on trust, not convenience. We laughed more than we had in months, and the heavy burden of betrayal slowly lifted. I realized that life has a strange way of correcting itself. The people meant to hurt us often reveal who is truly worth our time and trust. Olivia occasionally reached out, texting me with sarcastic remarks about my new relationship with Megan, but we never responded. We didn't need to. The chapter with her had closed definitively, leaving space for a healthier, more honest connection to flourish. And Simba? Well, he stayed with Olivia. Some things never change, but in a way, that was fitting. He had always preferred her anyway, and I didn't need to fight for a cat to reclaim my peace of mind. The takeaway from it all was clear. Trust isn't a test, it's a foundation. And sometimes, losing the people who try to manipulate that trust opens the door to the ones who respect it. Megan and I are still navigating this cautiously, aware of the scars, but willing to see what honesty and care can create. And me, I finally feel like I can breathe, unburdened, and cautiously optimistic about what's ahead. Life had been messy, painful, and unfair, but in the wreckage, I found clarity, justice, and unexpectedly, a second chance at happiness.